Hello everyone! In last videos I did Marnet and Adrian new designs. Today I'm gonna do Nathaniel. I know he is background character in original series, but I'm gonna change that, so let's get started. At first we need to talk about his original design, because this purple pants hurt me physically. This match absolutely nothing, and this jacket also doesn't fit. It hurts my eyes and doesn't make any sense. I mean, Nathaniel is an artist. He knows how color works. He should know this pants and this shirt looks terrible next to each other. It looks like a nightmare. I don't wanna look at him. His hair looks cool. It gives him mysterious vibe and fits. As for his new design, his hair is meh. It reminds me of Gesha Life 2017, especially bangs. The colors much better, but someone please explain me how he's end up covered in paint. He all the time sketch stuff in his sketchbook with pencil. Never mind, I'm gonna change this anyway. I changed his style. I'm gonna give him some emo vibes, but not much. I imagine he wears simple, dark clothes, but with small modifications, because first, he's Mary's friend. She would infect him with DIY clothes. And second, he's an artist. He carries his bag full of art supplies everywhere. He wears a simple black necklace around his neck. It's Miraculous. After all, Miraculous hides differently for each person. I also give him black Converse sneakers, painted and marked with marker. Not sometimes wears black eyeliner, but rarely, because he doesn't have time for this every day. Originally, I can't say much about Nath's character. He's kind, quiet, likes art, and has a boyfriend, I think. It's a good start, but it definitely needs to be developed. Let's move on to Nath's personality. He doesn't like to stand out. He's calm and rational, but also intelligent. He gives me sometimes the Rocky vibes. However, when the situation calls for it, he can keep his cool. He's resourceful and creative. All very good reasons to give him the Fox Miraculous. His hobby is drawing mostly comics, and that stays. I imagine Nat draws always when he can, and this often gets him into trouble with school, and because of that, he doesn't have many friends. Nat also likes to do some artistic makeup, but he mostly does it with Mary. They know each other since kindergarten, more on that in a moment. They are true friends and know almost everything about each other. Mary and Nat often spend the night at each other's houses and go out together, for example, shopping. Mary helped Nat when he was struggling with his orientation. She was a source of support when Nat was coming to terms with the idea of being bi. He's bi in original, I think, because of his dating Mark now, but earlier he has crush on Mary, so I think he's bi. As for Nathaniel's family, there is absolutely no information. If there is any, I haven't found it. I imagine his family is incredibly wealthy. It kinda makes sense, because look at this class, not mention they all attending to private school. If you go to private school, you have to pay for that. But look at the students, one after another. Chloe is the daughter of mayor and fashion icon. She's super rich and famous. Adrian, also son of fashion designer. He's model, ultra famous and probably as rich as Chloe. Mary, at first sight it doesn't visible, but her parents run a profitable bakery in the very center of Paris. They have very rich. I don't know if it's like that in the original series, but in this AU the whole tenement house belongs to Marnet's parents, and they live on the top and they use bakery, so I imagine the floors between them. Oh my god, what was that? And I imagine the floors between them, they just not stay empty, the other people live there and pays for that. Okay, let's go to the next person. Sabrina, her father is a chief of police, I think, or at least has very important role and knows mayor. Juleka is daughter of rockstar Jagged Stone. Max's mother is an astronaut, and Alia's mom is a cook chef in the best hotel in Paris. That's a lot of famous and or rich kids. So I make Nath not rich too. I imagine his parents are dead and he lives with his grandparents, but his entire family runs an international tech company, and Nath is the heir. It's that because I have no other ideas, and the company is so huge that it almost pays for itself, and Nath's aunt oversees everything until he becomes an adult and take over. Nathaniel, in my eye, is very good in computer stuff, especially programming. His parents died in a car accident when he was about 9 years old. Before that, however, they installed in him a love of modern technology. Nat loves to draw, but he knows how difficult it is to become famous, especially in the beginning. So he wants to take over the company after he graduates. This is the main reason why Nat doesn't care about school. He already has a career secured. Besides, if he wants to learn more about programming, there are courses everywhere, and they don't teach it in a school anyway. Not at level that would satisfy him. So yeah, Nat is rich. To do this video, I rewatched Evil Illustrator, and I noticed so many things I have to complain about. I watched it like 7-8 years ago, so back then I didn't see that. So, episode starts with Nat imagining himself as hero with powers very similar to Fox Miraculous. Create things to solve your problem. First of all, this is probably the only time someone, Nat, imagines himself as a superhero with superpowers and then gets akumized and becomes that person. And also Nat is bad with giving hero names. That's very funny.
Super Nathan!
He named himself Super Nathan. Kinda cute though. I totally get it. I cannot come up with good names even if I had to. Okay, so why he gets akumatized? The teacher rips up his sketchbook, literally mocks him in front of entire class and sends him to the principal. It's fucked up. Drawing in a class isn't a crime, and even if it was, literally a minute later, Chloe takes his sketchbook, tears it up, and mocks him in front of entire class. She doesn't even get a reprimand for it. Fuck me. I totally understand why he's angry. Everybody would be angry. Besides, sketchbook is very important to the artist. I can tell, if somebody destroyed my drawings, I would be furious. I put so much effort and time in them. So that was reasonable reason for akumatization. In original, he has crush on Mari, but in this I delayed that. They're friends. And Nat could imagine same scene, just replace Mari with Mark or something like this. However, this teacher behavior is inexcusable. She should lose her job. She destroyed a student's property and allowed him to be ridiculed by others. That's fucked up. I have one more issue I like to discuss about this episode. I make a list what evil things Nat actually does. I read everything he does during Akuma attack, and it goes like that. Evil Illustrator threw heads, something very soft at Chloe, then he blew her a huge hydra. I consider both of these things to be more cruel pranks than actions of villain. Moments later, when Ladybug and Cat Noir arrive, Nat creates a glass barrier to stop them. It's clearly he doesn't want to fight them, preferring to run away. A few hours later, he comes to see Mari. He erased the window but didn't do anything else. Nat is very nice and just wants to talk, inviting Marinette to his birthday party. She agrees, but on the condition that he doesn't hurt Chloe. Remember, Nat is taking revenge on his bully. He's angry and sad. Nat prepares the party venue, but Hawkmoth interrupts. He literally blackmails him with physical pain, so Nat kinda doesn't have a choice. He has to listen to Hawkmoth. In original, Mari at his party just grabs his pen. That betrayal makes him go mad and return to attack Chloe. But in my eye, I make it different. Marinette knows her friend very well, and when she meets Cat, she tells that she could try reason with Nat. Cat agrees, but says he will be there just in case, if something goes wrong. Party goes well. Nat is close to willingly give up his powers, but then Hawkmoth makes him feel this awful pain. Nat starts to scream and move crazy. He can't think clearly. Mari sees that and she freaks out. Cat Noir worries that Mari is in danger, so he comes out and grabs her protectively. Nat sees that. He still feels pain, can't think clearly. He thinks his best friend forever betrays him and doesn't trust. So he goes super villain. He screams, promise to ruin Chloe, and basically do all the things he does in the original episode. Let's move on to relationships in the classroom. The only reason Alia even talks to Marinette is because Chloe shoots her from her previous spot. Hello, Mr. Brewster, kids are being bullied in your class. Mari, for some reason, claims Alia stood up to Chloe, but it actually ended with Mari switching seats, just as Chloe's wanted. What the fuck? So, would the same thing have happened without Alia? Mari switched seats, or would Mari have gotten her way and stays on the first seat? Especially since you can see at the end of the origin part 2, Mari is able to stand up to Chloe on her own and stand for her ground, which she doesn't at that point. Great.
Take your attitude and go on, get lost!
I love logic. So in my AU, Alia doesn't react to the situation, which is why Mari just sits next to her when Chloe shoos her away. This makes them just classmates, not best friends. Besides, there's one thing that really bothers me about Alia. She supposedly loves superhero stories, so why the fuck doesn't she know how important secret identities are? Anyone who knows even a little bit about heroes understands the need for secret identities. I want to fucking know why Alia don't understand this. So yes, Mari and Alia are just classmates, which would also make more sense if Alia later believes Lila instead of Marinette. Because if I were Alia in this situation, I would believe Mari without a second thought, especially since the evidence on Lila's lies can literally be found online. Informations about, I don't know, Jaggedstone Cat, that's public knowledge. If he's so famous, anyway. Adrian and Nino are also just classmates, because no one can convince me that they can become friends so quickly. It took them like 2 minutes, that's just ridiculous.
Utterly ridiculous.
Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind if they became friends over the course of the series, but their relationship doesn't change. They treat each other like best friends in the first season, as well as in the 4th or 5th. I don't see any changes in this relationship at all, so in my eye they won't be friends. Because when you meet someone when you're a teenager and you make a bond like friends, your relation is developed. You have issues, you can be arguing, but it never stays the same. What are you, NPCs in the game? Oh yeah, they won't be friends. Mark is Marinette's friend and cousin, so Nat meet him thanks to Mari. Nathaniel almost immediately had crush on Mark. This happened when they were 15, about 2-3 years before the present time, in my AO. Mark is a year older than Nat and Mari. Marinette of course helped Nat ask Mark out. The boys quickly became a couple due to their shared interests and both find the other incredibly handsome, of course. They're a very sweet couple. I can't wait to write this flop. However, because they're both rather shy and don't go to the same school, few people know about it. So I started writing a little bit of prologue outline. Let's go to that. Everyone who knew Marinette was convinced she was a quiet, sweet girl who was awkward, insecure and clumsy. At first glance, she was, but those who knows her better knew the truth. And the truth was, Marinette should never be angry. Sure, she gets upset sometimes, but driving her crazy has dire consequences. It all started in kindergarten, one of the most prestigious in all of Paris. It was there that Chloe Bourgeois, Mornet Dupenchang and Nathaniel Kurtzberg first met and became friends. Each from good family, each nervous and lonely. Mari's parents owned the best bakery in all of France. Chloe's father was an influential politician and her mother was a world-famous designer, and the Nathaniel family founded one of the largest technology companies in the world. Each of these children was wealthy and had good start in life. The parents got along well, so they naturally became friends and spent all their time together. But when they started school, everything changed. Chloe's mother took her stepsister Zoe and moved to New York, abandoning her older daughter and ex-husband in Paris. God, I cannot read anymore. This changed Chloe. She decided to change so that her mother would recognize her as extraordinary and take her with her. However, this never happened, and Chloe became mean and heartless, trying to be like her mother. She severed all ties with Marinette and Nathaniel. I don't want to hang out with someone so boring and unspecial, Chloe said, and those were her last words to her now former friends for a really long time. Mar and Nat continued to stick together, but it quickly became clear that ending their friendship with Chloe was the least of their problems. They began to be bullied. At first, they couldn't handle it at all, and Chloe watched from the sidelines doing absolutely nothing. It hurt a lot. But eventually, the bullies overdid it. One of them wasn't satisfied with teasing Nat. They hit him. This infuriated Mary, who promised herself and Nat that they would destroy the bullies together. Mary did as she promised. She always kept her promises, spreading rumors, gathering evidence, and after a few weeks, went to the teachers and the bullies were quickly expelled from their school. This taught everyone not to piss Marinette off. Over the years, Marinette became a beautiful, intelligent girl. Her greatest passion became clothes designing. For years, Mary worked hard on her own clothing brand. Thanks to her openness and pleasant personality, she met many people who wanted to help her. She owned the most to the jagged, who regularly ordered his outfits from her for concerts and used the name of her brand, MDC, in every interview. As a result, her Instagram account became incredibly popular and her followers count skyrocketed. Everyone wanted her designs, but she naturally couldn't keep up, so very quickly her clothes became luxury goods of incredible quality. Furthermore, no one knew the identity of the mysterious MDC. Of course, Mary hadn't forgotten her friends. Every year for his birthday, Nathaniel received clothes specially designed for him. Marinette even wanted to reconcile with Chloe once. She thought her friend had gotten over it. After all, any child would be devastated by their mother's leaving. Mary decided to send Chloe a letter, asking for an honest conversation and sending her an elegant yellow MDC bag. Chloe never responded, but she still proudly carries the bag. Mary honestly didn't know what to think. Chloe, on the other hand, she's afraid to face Mary. She knows she hurt her and not. She doesn't want a confrontation. She feels terrible, but she prefers to keep things as they are. Although Chloe has been much less nasty towards Marinette since sending the letter, she's more spiteful than cruel. Chloe wasn't stupid, though, when she received a bag from MDC, which she'd never seen before, even on the designer's official profile, along with a letter from Marinette. The band quickly connects the dots and discovers MDC's identity. However, she kept the secret. After all, she and Marinette were once friends. Nathaniel had always been very shy and loved drawing and programming. With such an engaging hobbies, he didn't need many friends. His interests consumed all his time. He preferred hiding behind his sketchbook or laptop than talking to people. The exceptions were Marinette and Mark, her cousin. Nathaniel met him at once on Mar's birthday parties, and immediately thought he was the cutest boy he would ever seen. After a few conversations, it quickly became clear that they both loved superhero comics, and Mark wrote stories and fanfictions. It was a perfect fit for them. Nathaniel always had trouble coming up with stories, and Mark doesn't really like drawing. The two quickly became friends and began creating comics together. Marinette saw their affection to each other, so she convinced Nathaniel to ask Mark out on a date. After much persuasion, he finally agreed, overcame his shyness and asked Mary's cousin out. That was when they're 15. And Nathaniel and Mark have been together ever since. Okay, that was a quick prologue thing, I guess. So now we are moving on to Fox stuff, Fox Miracles, and all of this superhero mess. First, we need to establish one thing. Nathaniel is 100% suited to be a Fox Miraculous user. I mean, when I see him, I think Fox. When I first watched the Miraculous, back when only the first season was released, there were all these theories about who would have which Miraculous. As a child, I always thought Nathaniel would be a fox and Chloe would be a bee. I was a kid, so that's how it came across me, because Chloe was a yellow bee in my head, and Nat, due to her shirt, was an orange coded like fox. Besides, Nat was very creative as a villain, and I still think it makes a lot of sense. Alia, in my opinion, isn't exactly suited to be a fox hero, and to be honest, Alia isn't exactly suited to be any hero at all. But Fox Miraculous requires a lot of creativity and ingenuity. These traits aren't really evident in Alia's character in the show, and this is the first we know about Nat. Mary chose Alia only because they are friends. I don't see any other reason. Besides, I think it was too risky move. Alia kept trying to find out Ladybug's identity despite the heroine's explanations of how dangerous it is for anyone to know her identity. Alia won't let up. Why would Mary give a Miraculous to such a person? I think it's very irresponsible. In my view, Mary chose Nathaniel not only because she trusts him and knows Nathaniel won't tell anyone about his identity, she also chose him because he's very creative and resourceful, which is perfect for creating illusions. Regarding his appearance, I had to design his costume from scratch. I wanted his ears and tail to be real ones, not the coat thing Rena Rouge has. Red with white tips and very fluffy. Okay, I seriously have to discuss the color red, because in my language we have like separate word for the color of fox's fur, and this is the color we describe when you mixed orange and red with a bit of brown. In my language, this is a separate color. Then you can say, and everybody knows what you think, but I decided to make his superhero suit orange mixed with a bit of red color. I mean, you can see. I just want to say, in my language, we have separate word just to describe this specific color. Anyway, I wanted his ears and tail to be real, red with the white tips and very fluffy. I changed his hairstyle, making his hair more intense red-orange with white tips to match the rest of the outfit. I was somewhat inspired by Rena Rouge hairs, kinda. As for the costume, it's black, white and orange. He also has a black belt and high heavy boots with metal claws. His weapon is an illusion flat, which is also used in combat, but he also has sharp claws and fangs. I attach his Miraculous to his choker. This way, it's less likely that someone will rip it off during a fight, because seriously, necklace is the easiest thing to rip when you fight with someone. And necklace also can be used to suffocate you. So this is really stupid designer choice. So yes, choker would be safer. I'm also changing the way the illusions work a bit. He can create them just like in the original, but they don't disappear when someone touches them, because that's seriously stupid. The illusions are still intangible, but they last until Nat cancels them or transforms back. I don't have any ideas for his hero name. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments, but I think no ideas suits Nat, because Nat is really suck at came up with hero names, as I mentioned earlier. Moving on to the fox-like traits Nat gained from tricks. His fangs are slowly becoming much sharper, and his sense of smell and hearing are definitely improving. He has much greater craving for meat and fruit than usual. His became much lighter because his bones have become less dense. I decided this because I found this information on Wikipedia. I also learned that foxes smelled of violets, so I decided at some point Nat would start to exude a violet scent and everyone would think it was a flower perfume, a very strong one. This scent is even stronger when he's transformed into his superhero form. Foxes are very possessive and territorial animals, so I imagine Nat would become much more clingy towards his friends, especially his boyfriend. I also think he would be a lot more pissed off if someone else tried to hit on Mark. Also, in my AU, Marinette doesn't give him Miracle during a fight with someone, because Marinette in my AU is fucking smarter than his original series. In my opinion, giving someone Miraculous during fight is really stupid. I mean, you see what happened when Mari and Adrian fight in the first time. They have no idea what they're supposed to do. They cannot even use their weapons properly. So, in my AU, when Mari decides to give someone Miraculous, like Nat, or later, spoiler, Chloe, she gives Miraculous when there's no Akuma, just on patrol or something like this. In that way, new Miraculous user can train with their Miraculous, get to know his or her Kwami and learn more about powers, can ask Ladybug and Cat Noir for tips and help, test their limits and skills, how do the simplest hero stuff like jumping from roof to roof and things like this, and also learn about all of these things. I mean, this is take Mari and Adrian some time to figure this out, and doing fights with super villains is very dangerous because it's easy to make a mistake and it can end up with someone dying. Marinette in my AU thinks about this kind of stuff. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoy it. I wrote this script for like eternity and I work so hard on this. So if you like what I do, leave a like and comment. I would appreciate it very much. See you soon in the next video. Here's Nathan in civilian and fox form. Bye bye!